Howdy, comrades. It's Rob here again for another Driving the West. Today we're going to take a nice morning drive from Moab up the River Road all the way through the ghost town of Cisco and finally out to I-70. So hop in. Let's go for a drive. Sun along the Colorado River here. We're following what's called the River Road locally. It takes you from the town of Moab up towards the town of Cisco, which is a ghost town now, and eventually hooks up with I-70. So the lower part of the River Road, the part that we're on right now, closest to Moab, is very popular with recreationists. There's tons of campsites and some boat launch sites out here as well. And we're going to see up ahead in just a few minutes that we are ending up getting stuck behind a truck that is carrying around a bunch of river rafts. Going to go put in up in Castle Valley. Come around the bend into Castle Valley here, and I decided to slow down the footage after we get past the truck here because, well, this is just a gorgeous area and a gorgeous drive. On the left we've got a vineyard, and of course in front of us, spreading out, you can see the Colorado River. This is a spectacular drive any time of day, but in the morning, with the light coming in the way it is and the temperature still nice before the blazing heat sets in, it's pretty magical. Probably not alone in that thought. This whole section, Castle Valley and Moab in general, is actually known for some famous movie and TV shows, including, most recently, HBO's Westworld. A lot of scenes involving desert valleys and the train arriving into town and scenes down along the river were all filmed right here in Castle Valley, some right along the River Road. They were able to use CGI to replace the road itself with train tracks or a dirt road, although there's also plenty of dirt roads. Also takes you out to a place called Fisher Towers, and I'll point that out when we come up to it on the right. And you also go past Onion Creek. Both of these are pretty popular hiking and outdoor destinations. There's climbing at Fisher Towers as well. You may recognize it not just from some of the TV shows out there, but also from car commercials that a couple filmed out there. The Onion Creek Drive is really pretty. You crisscross creek itself numerous times. It gets its name from the wild onions that are growing all along the stream, of course, there. We're about to leave climb up out of this rise and head towards some of those scenic destinations. A lot of people think of southeastern Utah as this remote, paradisiacal wilderness, and in some places that is true, but in other places it's sort of a yuppie, bourgeoisie, overpriced, expensive retreat for folks with tons of money from the cities. And that's true here in Castle Valley to some degree as well. The town of Moab itself is especially known for the increasing gentrification that has been going on there for many years, and it's really been quite frustrating to watch as this small mining town and the scenic areas are just transformed into basically these industrial tourism hubs, swarming with throngs of people that have little care or connection to the land or the area around them. So we're coming up on Fisher Towers on the right, and we've already passed the Onion Creek turnoff. In just a little bit, we are going to be coming up on a Bureau of Land Management vehicle, and we're going to end up following them all the way up past Dewey Bridge to a spot that I'll talk about once we get up there. As we drive along the river road, we're actually going back in time according to the rocks. Canyon walls over by Moab were formed by giant sand dunes back in the Jurassic period. And now, as we're leaving the whole Professor Valley, Castle Valley area, we are looking at the lower slopes of these canyons being formed of rocks that were deposited by streams during the late Permian or into the Triassic period. And as we come up to Dewey Bridge here, we're actually back into the Jurassic with these sandstones. And not too far after crossing historic Dewey Bridge, which we're doing here, we come across some interesting things. This has long been a corridor for people traveling in between the Moab area and places further north. And highlighted in the red circle, you'll see some Native American petroglyphs here on the left. These petroglyphs were formed several hundred years ago, and they were made by Fremont and Ute peoples that inhabited the area. We've now left the river corridor, and the Colorado River obviously is continuing to come down from Colorado off on the right, but we're now crossing the flats south of I-70. There's a whole bunch of Mancos shale out here, which you've heard me talk about before. Those badlands formed from deposits that were laid down at the bottom of an ancient sea. So as we head north here, we're actually not going to hop on I-70 right away. We're going to take a little quick detour, and we are going to head over towards the modern ghost town of Cisco. Welcome to Cisco, Clifton's filling station, as the song goes. You can see that the town is looking pretty rough. It has definitely seen better days. Cisco started declining after I-70 was built. This used to be right along the main route from Grand Junction over in towards Moab as well as over towards Thompson Springs. But since the advent of the interstate highway, Cisco has fallen on hard times. Now about the only thing that brings people to Cisco is if they're going down to hop in a boat and head down the River Canyon through the stretch that we didn't get to see on the highway, as well as some of the stuff that we did get to see. There's also a fiber optic relay station here in town for one of the major internet providers, and there's a little bit of oil and natural gas in the area, but not really a whole lot. There used to be scheduled train service when the Denver and Rio Grande was operating passenger trains, but Amtrak doesn't stop here, and the station is long since closed and demolished. In fact, the last time I looked and drove through the town, even the post office was for sale, although I recently saw an ad online claiming that the post office here in Cisco was now an Airbnb. So that's Cisco, and if you're ever in the area, remember to check it out, but please be respectful of those folks that lived here, as well as the folks that still own some of the land here. They don't appreciate people trespassing on them and wrecking the memories that they had as kids. And that just about does it for this episode of Driving the West. I'd like to say thanks again for joining us. Hope you enjoyed this drive up the river road from Moab to I-70. We got a lot of more content coming your way. I've just received in the mail a second camera, so we're going to be able to start doing some new and fun angles and cutting between them instead of just a single long continuous shot, so that should be interesting. We've also got some footage recorded that I think you all are going to enjoy. We took a drive up to Vernal, stopped at some rock art, so that should be an interesting drive to put together here for you. And we've also got some shots from further south in Utah. So we're going to have all those up and running here before we get into our new dual cam footage. So again, thank you for joining us here on Driving the West. Please give it a like if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more of my treks, quests, and ventures across the highways, byways, and back roads of the West.